What's up, y'all? Um, I know people are looking for the drama, and I ain't got drama today. I'm gonna touch on some stuff. I'm gonna address some stuff, but after that, I'm not getting ready to do. I ain't getting ready to do no whole bunch of drama and shit today because hey man, we went over there to see Sylvia. Sylvia had her court case and all of that. But the truth of the matter is this: that with what went on with Hollywood Next and Sylvia, it's really a travesty, in my opinion. Just because you got one person who is basically the beacon of chaos. And if you ever notice, all of those chaotic ass people, they all start linking up and they all tend to run together. And, hey man, they just the catalyst for nothing ever getting done. Truth be told, a bunch of folks is the catalyst for nothing ever getting done. And unfortunately, everything that went on is the result of nigga shit. It's the result of the failure. But as I done drove up here to Chicago, now I'm on my way back to St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? I was riding down Madison, riding down Pulaski, riding down Roosevelt and stuff like that. And, I'm looking at the city. I'm looking at what Chicago is. What's going on, Miss Fat? When I'm looking at the city and I'm looking at what Chicago is, then all that I'm reminded about is I think it's 1994, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, a member of the Nation of Islam, was debating a guy named Anthony Wilder. And when he was debating Anthony Wilder, he stopped and he started riffing, you know what I mean? And when he started riffing, what he said was, he started talking about Malcolm X taking this pilgrimage over to Mecca. And when Malcolm X took the pilgrimage over to Mecca, remember that he came back to America and he talked about how much peace and all of that it was in over in Mecca. Now, I feel like today I took a pilgrimage up here to Chicago. And just like Dr. Khalid Muhammad, when he was talking about, hey, Malcolm said he found all of this peace. When I went over to Mecca, I found terrorism. I found racism. I found discrimination. He said that, listen, if it's a Jew country, you'll find a white Jew on the top and a black Jew on the bottom. If it's a Muslim country, you're going to find the white Muslims on the top and the black Muslims on the bottom. If it's a Christian country, you're going to find the white Christians on the top and the black Christians on the bottom. He said everywhere that I went in the world, as long as the black and white paradigm exists, you're going to find the white person on the top and the black person on the bottom. Now, as I drove down 55, I'm racing, getting here, trying to get to court by 11. I finally get off on California. I come back to the street, I think it's called Kinsey or something like that. That the Cook County Courthouse sit on. It's on the west side. So I'm riding down this street. You feel me? And I know a lot of folks say, hey, Trent boring, but this ain't for them. This right here, I'm speaking to people who subscribe to me, who like my content. Everybody else, the riffraff and shit, they can go where the fuck they go. But as I'm riding down this street to the courthouse, I'm looking at the city of Chicago. and I'm looking, and the military has sent me all around this world. They sent me all around this country on their dime to do different work for them, as well as I done went all around the world just sightseeing and traveling my damn self. And so when I look at the city of Chicago, I'm looking at how run down this shit is, how dilapidated it is, how the city is really getting down. And you have in most other major cities, I don't know what cities y'all are from, but the thing that I found to be problematic is typically where there's a courthouse at, the area in the land around the courthouse would be more established. Even if the court themselves had to purchase the stuff, it would look better. Cook County got an old ass courthouse. It's old as fuck. The street that the courthouse sits on, it ain't nothing but abandoned buildings, run down ass buildings, and then they have the projects. It's a damn project building. I think Daddy Lolo was telling me it was called the NZs or something like that. But it's an abandoned project building that literally sits 2 blocks up from the courthouse. And the building is marked with graffiti. You see an old vacant ass parking lot. You look at the houses in the area that's around the courthouse. The houses got back porches and shit that's falling down. The streets in Chicago are congested as fuck. Almost as though Chicago was not set up and it wasn't built for as much traffic that they had. Now, when you look at Chicago and you look at this case of R. Kelly, where did they get the money from to fight this case? Okay, where are they getting the money from? Where are they getting the money from? Where are they getting the money to pursue this shit at? Where are they gonna get the money, man? Chicago has 4 million people. It's 4 million people that pay taxes in Chicago. But when you look over there, you look at all of these buildings. Chicago is one of the only cities that I've ever been to where you have heroin addicts sitting over there on Roosevelt and Madison, fiending. People out in this motherfucker, the police sitting right here. It's people out there flagging you down, nigga, to make dope sales. In the middle of the street over there on Madison. Real shit. Motherfuckers flagging you down. The police sitting right there. Niggas, junkies, nodding off on street corners. This shit look like something straight out the wire. Straight out the wire. But where is the money coming from to go and prosecute cases like this? Now, I know some of y'all said, well, the feds picked it up. It was on the feds' dime. But still, the federal government is still pulling money, federal tax money, from the people who pay money in Chicago and reissuing that money back to the feds in Chicago or the Northern District of Illinois. And all that I see is corruption going on all through that city. I was out there for about 3 hours, you know. I was in the city for about 3 hours. But where is the money? Where is these folks' money going to? And so when it's been this big old issue about sending the lawyers in to report the BOP, it's a bigger issue at stake, man. It's really a bigger issue at stake. The Daley family, Richard Liggins, from 1881 until present day, where in the money where in the hell has the money in Chicago went to? Because when you see Chicago, you see the sale of two cities. You see what Chicago used to be, and then you see what it is now. All right, when I'm in Chicago, you can look at it and see, you like, damn, this used to be an alt. Tell by the architecture. You say, damn, this used to be an Aldi. This used to be a grocery store. This used to be a Family Dollar. This used to be a Taco Bell. This used to be you know what I'm saying? This used to be a little Payless store. You can see everything that the stores used to be, but it's no longer that. But who did moved in? The Arabs that moved into Chicago. All right, I went over there to New Look over there on Madison by Central Park. And every time I'm in Chicago, I go over there and buy me some clothes and shit. So I just went to New Look, and the Arabs, like, this was a nice store and everything, but when you look at these people, they don't even maintain the sidewalks. They don't maintain nothing about the area over there in Chicago. You look at them where they could have put money up and a sign out there to say, hey, we sell tripe sandwiches here. We selling shish kebab, or we selling lamb chops or whatever else. They could have put up a sign that says all of this, but what do they put up instead? The Arabs come into the neighborhoods and they putting up cardboard signs, and it's fish, chicken, and grilled shrimp. Then the windows and stuff got bars and cages on them. So they put all of the attention on R. Kelly having sex with these girls. And I'm not here to argue guilt or innocence on that, because, like I said, it's a bigger issue at stake here. You can't make one person be the poster child for all of the fucking crime that's going on in this city. You just can't do it, because it's criminal behavior going on in the governor's office. It's criminal behavior going on in the mayor's office. It's criminal behavior in the state's attorney's office. It's criminal behavior with the police department, the fire department. It's criminal behavior with everything. And so the issue ain't, okay, y'all need to put the BOP on notice. The issue is, if Chicago cared so much about these girls, if the federal government cared so much about these girls, then why do you got project buildings, abandoned project buildings, sitting in the middle of the city, where one building should have been torn down and the next a children's center should have went up, a basketball court should have went up. With all of the vacant land that they got from all of the buildings that they went out of business in Chicago, all of the land that's just sitting around that city with all of them businesses that went out of business, they could have went and built some institutions, built things. They could have built colleges. Fuck it. Let's just say, man, they could have built a trade. They could have built a job corps. Over here where the projects used to be over there on the west side, why the fuck didn't they use that money? Why the fuck didn't they go and build a job corps there where you go in and you got a school, a low income school to teach people trade skills? Why does the city look like that? The city houses 4 million people, but you still got 2 lanes. How the fuck do you have a 2-lane street on y'all major streets? Dude, you got the street where the court sits on. It's a 2-lane street, and they let folks park on it. So when you talk about the city of Chicago enrolling different things that will create revenue for the city. Okay, number one thing is in most major cities, when you're going downtown or you're going to an area where a court is in session at, they typically have parking meters. And you can't park on the street where you're going to inhibit the flow of traffic because these are heavy commerce cities. A parking meter is in place for one reason and one reason only. Parking meters ain't about generating income, even though that they do. Parking meters are put there so that when you go inside this building, you have an incentive to get in there, get the fuck out, and let the next person come through here so that we can keep the revenue rolling in. But when you go over there, man, you go through the city, you be like, damn, there used to be a Best Buy. Out there on the south side next to U.S. Cellular Field, and granted, I ain't go to the south side this day, but I remember being on the south side 3 years ago, and it's right there next to where the White Sox play at. They got a major hair store that's owned by some Arabs, where it used to be a Best Buy. But Best Buy left. These Arabs came in. They running these buildings, and they not doing anything to increase the property value. Where is the fucking zoning committee at? That shit, it look chaotic. And then when you look at these areas where these girls are coming from, these alleged victims or victims, when you look at the areas that they are coming from, how dare you sit up in here and talk about, oh, well, he was doing this and it went unnoticed. Jim DeRogatis that went over here and wrote about R. Kelly for 20 years. Do Jim DeRogatis got any work folks can produce outside of R. Kelly where he's talking about the corruption going on over there? Where can he talk? Because you can't get an R. Kelly without corruption from the police department out there. If they said, well, people were coming in writing reports and the reports went ignored, yeah, because they've been stealing fucking money. Money is being stolen, bro. Lori Lightfoot been in office for 4 years. For 4 years. Dude, that city look dirty. The streets look dirty. Everything up in that motherfucker, it look dirty and run down. Why is it that they are over here, they talking about Jesse Smollett and R. Kelly? You know what I'm saying? They've been talking about Jesse Smollett and R. Kelly, but nobody downtown is asking why was Best Buy here and now the Arabs own this store. And everybody knows, no offense if anybody watching this who's Arab, but everybody knows when Arab people come in and start owning shit, the property value going down because Arabs don't maintain shit. Arabs don't give a fuck about where the fuck they do business at. Okay, Arabs know one thing. Because Arabs are really like low-level niggas. Keep in mind that the Arab people, Middle Eastern people, these were the first people who started the slave trade. That's where Christopher Columbus and them learned the slave trade from, was Arabs. So these Arab people, they came into the south side of Chicago, they came into the west side of Chicago. They running the fucking city down. They down there in City Hall. Nobody gonna say shit. Nobody gonna say shit. Nobody, like this shit is a travesty, dude. You got stuff going on. The police over there in Chicago, man. They got a bunch of shit over here at the courthouse. A bunch of cars sitting over there raggedy than a motherfucker with their bumpers off. Cars that was involved in accidents, them motherfuckers sitting over there in the back like, hey, man, well, shit, we got to wait till we got some money in the budget where we could go and fix them cars. So where's the money going to? Where is the money going to? When they pass this stuff up to a federal district, where's the money going to? Like when you look at how these little dumb assholes live, who R. Kelly is accused of fucking with. When I look at the neighborhoods that them little bitches live in, man, and you look at all of that money that they got, okay, them going to fuck an R. Kelly and hitting him up for some money, dude, that nigga R. Kelly was the first stimulus plan for these little hoes in Chicago. If you want me to be honest about it. If I'm being candidly honest with you, him hitting these little hoes up, he was the first stimulus plan. Why? Because the city of Chicago has not invested anything in its black residents. The city of Chicago ain't invested nothing in its black and minority residents. All of the money in Chicago go to the North Chicago. They built up downtown and they built up North Chicago. So when you looking at Skokie, Illinois, and you look at all of that shit up there in Northern Illinois or North Chicago, it's built up. Okay, it looks nice. You go to downtown, you like, damn, yeah, this is a nice tourist attraction. But when you go out into the streets of Chicago, the streets of Chicago where the Mexicans and the blacks live at, is ran down, dilapidated. Where is the money at? If you got 4 million people who are paying taxes, 4 million people paying taxes, and let's just say the average person pays $10,000 in taxes a year. So if you got 4 million people paying 10,000. My bad, y'all. My bad. My phone, the iPhone got too hot. But if you got 4 million people paying $10,000 a year in taxes at minimum, some people are paying more. The cost of living in Chicago is more. The cost of living in Chicago is more than what it is out here in St. Louis. So if you got 4 million people paying $10,000 in taxes a year, the city is probably seeing what, $4 billion, $40 billion in revenue. Where's that $40 billion going to? Where's the $40 billion? And this is a minimum. This is a minimum. Where's the $40 billion going to? They ain't built no streets. They ain't built no housing complexes. They ain't built no they ain't built no child care centers. They ain't built no fucking homeless shelters. They ain't went out here put no bridge programs in place. Where is the money going to? Where are the social outreach? Yeah, I drove. Yeah. I drove 300 miles. I'm driving 300. It's 300 miles both ways, but that ain't the issue. These folks, these people, the folks who are in leadership, where is the accountability? Because yeah, folks can go over here. They can write letters, right? Bon Jean say one thing about the letters. All right, that's cool. If you want to write a letter, write a letter. If you don't write a letter, don't write a letter. But the bigger issue is everybody, like, if you really want to get this man out of jail, then you can't be just focused on the case. Like, you can't be focused on the case, dude. The case got its own issues, but that's not what it's about. If you want to get this man out of jail, you have to think outside the box. Really look at what went down. Look at what the real true issue is. Look at what the real true issue is. Look at what really done went on out here. Okay, so Bonjean just entered. She just entered her appeal. But look at what the real true issues are out here. Is when you go, first off, everybody who's in Chicago or everybody who lives in the state of Illinois, they need to write into the White House and ask the White House to, folks need to write what's called a congressional inquiry. People need to write a congressional inquiry and ask for the White House to do an investigation, do a public investigation into the crimes, the criminal conduct of the political leaders of the state of Illinois. From 1990 or from 1989 until present day, for R. Kelly's whole career. And really, if we really telling the truth about it, you really need to go all the way back to 1967. The mayor then was Richard Daley. And up until Rahm Emanuel left the White House, to go be the mayor of Chicago for about 12 years, his son was the mayor. His son, if you really be honest about it, Richard Daley's son, Richard Daley Jr., from 1989 to like 2008, 9, 10, he went in and sold all of the shit off in Chicago. Do y'all really know, like, why Chicago was fucked up? Why R. Kelly was out there like that? Or what made them, what made all of them girls and shit come over there? Like, do y'all really know what the real reason was that he was over there? Because they talk about these non-sequitur issues, and a bunch of people get on this YouTube wasting people's time talking a bunch of chaos, a bunch of bullshit, and all of that. But do y'all know about the kickback program that took place under Mayor Daley? Do y'all know about the kickback program that took place under Mayor Daley? If y'all allow me to, I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about it. The city of Chicago had people out there paying taxes. And when these people were out there paying taxes, then the folks who are in the administration down there at the courthouse and the folks who run the state of Illinois, they were giving folks contracts with the city, big ass toll companies. Okay, and the toll companies, they were giving folks big ass contracts. And what is they would give all of the city's money. They would give all of the city's money to like toll companies. But the catch to it was, if you worked at the toll company, I'm gonna give you this contract, but then you gotta give me, like, say I give you a $50 billion contract, right? All right, you gonna have to give me not 50 billion. I'm exaggerating. I'm going too far with 50 billion. I give you a $50 million contract. Out of this $50 million contract, you're going to have to give me $4 million back. You're going to have to give me $4 million back. That's the price of doing business. Now, that $4 million was supposed to go to after-school programs for Jerron Pace. That $4 million was supposed to go to a dance or choreography college, a visual and performing arts colleges that Adria Kelly could have won to, or it's supposed to go to a singing institution. But that money did not go to the place it was supposed to go to. That money didn't go to where it was supposed to go to. That money went to line the people's pockets who live out there in North Chicago. And don't get me wrong, South Chicago is fucked up, but it's not the whole South Chicago. It's the parts of South Chicago where the niggas stay at. All right, the parts of South Chicago where the white folks stay at, that shit good. You drive through that bitch, you be like, Baghdad, 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 Baghdad. Oh, this shit is nice. This shit is nice. This shit is nice. Or like, but when you look at it, when you going and you looking at these places, you mean to tell me all of the money went to one thing solely? Like, don't get me wrong, a whole city ain't gonna be built up overnight. But when you drive through the city, you're supposed to be like, oh, well, damn, they started this $1 billion construction project right there. Okay, they turn, like, it should be something, bro. Like, we're in St. Louis, our city fucked up too, but the difference between our fucked up and their fucked up is this shit'll look fucked up, but if you drive 5 more blocks or 2 miles up the street, you will see a big ass crane out somewhere where you like, oh, they getting ready to go and start doing construction. So when you look at this, Chicago is a hub. Chicago is a hub. They got 2 airports. You can't go and redesign an airport and put it near the hood because South and West Chicago need some major income generating assets. They need income generating things where you go and incentivize a company like UPS and Amazon to lay infrastructure. You give them a tax break. Say, hey, the people from downtown Chicago are supposed to go out and call up UPS. Hey, we want you to come. If I'm still here, I am not. Let me see. So, let me see. Shit, I'm out here on. I'm on Weber Road. I don't even know where the fuck that's at. Truth. I don't know where that's at. I don't know where that shit is. I don't know. I think I'm out here by Boylenbrook. But check this out though. They need to incentivize all of these people because you see a whole bunch of, as you drive into Chicago, you see major industry. You see major industry on the outskirts of town before you get into the city. But those big ass businesses like that generate all of that traffic and revenue, that stuff need to be downtown. That stuff really need to be downtown where the city can eat off of that. So the city, with all of this corruption and kickbacks and shit that they got going on, how is it that the city leaders ain't went to all of these major Fortune 100 companies and Fortune 50 companies and said, hey, listen, if y'all build a facility down here, we'll give you a tax break for 25 years. We'll give you a tax break for 25 years. Like, really, where they coming out, you see Kim Fox come out and start an investigation. If y'all really want to hit them where it hurt, do a congressional inquiry into that. Do a congressional inquiry to the shit that they have really done.
really ask the federal government for an investigation to where the money is in Chicago. Where's the money at? Because all of a sudden they got a wild thorn up their ass and they say, oh, well, it's troubling and disturbing, all of the things that they say about R. Kelly. But let's talk about Kim Fox. Like how Kim Fox pushed the thresholds of what was a felony and what counted as misdemeanor theft, misdemeanor, or felony theft, felony gun charges, felony marijuana possession. They push the thresholds. They push the thresholds out to where if a misdemeanor crime was like, okay, let's say I steal an iPhone. Most petty theft is $1,000 and under. Okay, most petty theft is $1,000 and under. Well, they push them thresholds up to, let's say, they'll push the threshold up to $1,800, or they push it up to $2,000. And so 10 years ago, there was a whole big old push where people were out there, they was in the streets, they was really asking questions. And the questions that the people was asking was, okay, hey, we understand, y'all need to do something about the crime here in Chicago. And so Chicago devised a scheme. If y'all think that Levi and Dana is the dollar for the scheme, y'all ain't watching. Y'all not paying attention. The real scheme was in order for Chicago to get more money, because nobody gonna do money with you when you got all this fucking crime going on out here.
All right, in order for Chicago, in order for Chicago to keep getting money, what Chicago had to do was Chicago had to lower that crime rate. But instead of them really putting the money up to really lower the crime rate, what they did instead was they moved the thresholds for crime up. They pushed the thresholds up. So with them pushing the thresholds up, they never really got rid of the crime itself. But what they did instead was they just reorganized. They reorganized and they repurposed crime and criminal activity, and still kept the money in their pockets. So where the fuck is the money at? Like, don't tell me about don't to talk about the Bureau of Prisons, to write letters in on the bureaus of prisons. You doing the injustice to yourself. Folks can do whatever the fuck they want to do, but you're doing an injustice to yourself when you have crime going on all throughout this, corruption going on all throughout this, nepotism and favoritism going on all throughout this. And so, to me, the message is getting misconstrued when the message is, well, hey, y'all going to report the BOP officer and stuff like that, because, like, it's more than one way to skin a cat. It's more than one way to skin a cat, okay? And I think that that's the part that gets missed by R. Kelly and all of those folks, man, because if you strictly sitting over here and you strictly just want to keep it about this case that you're somewhat guilty of, you fucking yourself up in the long run when if you really want to get out of trouble, you start raising hell in the streets and you start raising hell with the decision makers. Because once you go and start uncovering all of the things that have taken place, I said taken, all of the things that have taken place with the political leaders, with the judges, with the corrupt police commissioners, when the corrupt ass state's attorney's office, you go in and you start raising a fuss about the way that they are doing business. Once you raise enough of a fuss about how business is being done by all of these different players, once you raise a fuss about how it's being done by all of these different players, and you get them put out of office, and then you start raising a fuss about all of the other criminal shit that these people have done while they were in office, then every decision that they have made will be going back and looked at. All of the decisions that they have made be looked at. When a judge gets found of doing some corrupt shit, then every case that she ever ruled on has to be revisited. Every case that they have ruled on has to be revisited. Once you find out a liar is a liar, then you have to question all of the things that you ever thought was true coming from the person. So once you start raising a fuss about the corruption that's going on, because when you want to get folks on the movement, it's hard to get somebody on a movement where somebody's been convicted of sexual of sexual crimes, especially sexual crimes against minors. It's hard to get any traction behind that. But something that you can get some traction behind is where has the taxpayers' money in this city gone to? Where has the taxpayers' money in this city gone to? We see money coming in when we go to the courthouse out in Springfield, Illinois, in the state's capital. We can see Chicago got issued their money from the federal government that they were supposed to get. So we see on the books, because this is the thing. When y'all see me come on and I'm doing opinionated stocks, and I'm talking about other things that ain't R. Kelly related and stuff, when you start talking about big boy shit and big boy corporations, all of their accounting is all done publicly. It's all public. All of the information is public. So if we look on these public records and we see where the money has gone to, we saw the money come in, but where are the programs? Where are the community programs? How is this money delineated for the folks in the inner city? Number one, where are the micro-lending institutions? Black people, Darlene, Truth, all of the other folks who are out there in Chicago. Everybody, if you from Chicago, write shy in my chat. If you from Chicago, write shy in my chat. You feel me? Because I want to ask y'all something. And the question that I want to ask is, for my Chicago people, where are the micro-lending institutions at down there? Where are the micro-lending institutions at? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the SBA's website. Go to the SBA's website. And when you go to the SBA website, look up microloans. Okay? Look up microlenders. And they should give you a list of places where you could go to if you're a small business owner And you could go to these places and get loans that are $50,000 and less, right? Even if it's 49,999. Where are those places at? Some of the black people in Chicago, the city owes y'all. Y'all need to go, even if y'all gonna go and fuck the money off, go and get it. Even if y'all plan on going to get that shit and spending it all on a Range Rover, look up where the micro lending institutions are in Chicago. Where are the micro lending institutions at, y'all? Y'all go out there and we need a team of, let's say, if we could get a team of 10 people who are in Chicago, who, if you own a house or you own some cars or something like that, do you have a house that has 30, anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 of equity in there? And if you got a house that got $25,000 to $50,000 of equity in that motherfucker, go get 5 to 10 people together and go to a micro lending institution, and y'all need to go and put some businesses over there in the community that's for black people, because those micro lending programs are supposed to be set up for black folks. It's supposed to be set up for black folks. So y'all are going to find out where the micro lending institutions are. Then when y'all find out where they are, if the Arabs can do it, goddamn it, we can do it too. If the Arabs can do it, we can do it too. Now, you go down there, you talk to the people there, and if the people are bitchy or the people don't want to help you out, then you need to write the Attorney General for the state of Illinois, but you also need to write to Congress, write to the congressmen out there and the House out there, and talk about what's going on, because there's supposed to be programs out there to help people within the community give money back. But what I found, man, when I went down there into Chicago, is that the city is disinterested in the state of well-being of its black citizens and its black taxpayers. And what they don't understand is, if you get a movement together where you start waking people up, you don't gotta keep talking. You don't gotta keep dragging the R. Kelly shit day after day, because it's really bigger than that. If you go out there, you do a protest against the political corruption that's going on out there, and you start talking to people, and you get some people to join in on your movement, right? And you get the people to say, hey, I'm going to stop paying taxes. Or, hey, I'm going to move out of this motherfucker and not contribute taxes to this motherfucker, because y'all ain't doing anything for the community. Folks ain't doing shit for the community. You got public officials, public employees that's just sitting outside, chilling. Like, folks over here, they want to tell me about R. Kelly or whatever, and the girls he fucked. You mean to tell me that the way that city looks, them loose ass girls out there, the police fucking them little bitches too? I guarantee you, all of the folks out there in Chicago, all of the folks that's out there in Chicago, if y'all really do a deep dive and a deep dig into what's really going on out there in Chicago, I guarantee you, you ain't got to search that hard to find out that the police is having sex with them girls too. The same girls that they convicting R. Kelly of, the same thing that they have a problem with, them little fast ass females, they having sex with police officers too. they having sex with them too. So it's bigger than all of that. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, man. But the folks want to hear what they want to hear. Okay? It's bigger than just that. Folks say, why did you step away, man? That's the reason why I stepped away, man. When people want to just sit up here and make this shit be about R. Kelly, nah, man, nah. Man. Folks got to go to Mecca. People got to go to Mecca, man. You can't just be sitting over here trying to say that this man is innocent, thinking that that's going to do something. That ain't doing nothing. That's not doing anything. Stop trying to attack the case and attack the system that bought the case. Once you start attacking the system that bought the case, that's the beginning of getting free, man. But they say the drug dealers and the police are too. You gotta attack the system, man. It's not just when they said one man ain't no enterprise, no. And when they said that he was a part of a corrupt enterprise, okay, we gonna concede to that, Mr. Government, Mr. White Man. We concede to he was a part of the enterprise. But the other members of the enterprise is the Chicago public officials. Don't talk to me about no Regina Daniels and no what's the other one name? What's the other one's name that they like to say? Cheryl Mack. Don't talk to me about them. Don't talk to me about no Demetrius. No. Don't talk to me about Don Russell. The other members of the enterprise or the corrupt officials in Chicago, the political officials, the mayors. Those are the members of the enterprise, if we keeping it real, because those are the ones that are stealing the money from the communities to make the girls have a decision where, do I want to live this ghetto ass life, this poor ass life, or do I want to go over here and suck some dick and give me a couple $100,000 and get the fuck about this situation? Do I want to go over here and fuck this nigga and get the fuck about this situation? Yeah, he might have herpes, but look at where the fuck we living at. Look at where the fuck we living at. Once I fuck this nigga, I get my money, shit, I can go and get some vouchers. But I'm tired of living here. I'm tired of waking up every day seeing these same old run-down check cash in places. I'm tired of seeing niggas getting shot. I talked to Daddy Lolo. I'm like, hey, me and Daddy, I was joking with Daddy Lolo. I'm like, man, I said, man, how the fuck do they get away with this shit being like this out here, man? I said, man, dude, since we've been talking, me and Daddy Lolo talked for about 45 minutes. I said, man, 6 niggas then got shot since we've been having this conversation. One of them died. One of them, he getting rushed to he's in intensive care. And the other 4 niggas, they just got grave wounds. But 6 niggas and got shot since we was talking. We was joking and shit. But they not doing anything to stop the crime. In order to stop the crime, you need to create jobs. Where is the job creation at? How do you go to a city? How do you go to a city where you got all of them criminals? Chicago got core crackers, they got dope dealers, they got fucking sex crimes offenders. They got all of these different things that's going on. So, court is big business. Everybody who's an adult knows that court's big business. Whether you had a dope charge or a traffic offense, what's the one thing you ain't gonna get out of? Paying court costs. You can't get out of paying court costs. So court is big business. So why the hell is the Cook County courthouse so fucking raggedy? That shit outdated as hell. That building looked like it was the shit in the 1970s, but in 2023, why does the courthouse look that fucking old? Y'all ain't got no big ass glass door, no window treatment, no nothing. Y'all ain't built no new courthouse. Every city got a new courthouse. Why is y'all courthouse still old than a motherfucker, man? Why is the courthouse so fucking old? They ain't had no money to build no new courthouse? Because some of the things that I'm talking about, like, the government is supposed to be to fix that shit. Some of these things the government is supposed to be to fix. It's hella congested up in there. You got all of them rundown ass buildings. Fucking man, turn that goddamn project building down. Turn the goddamn Ickeys down. Turn the Ickeys down and put a new court facility right there, man. Get rid of all them old ass buildings and shit, man. Repurpose them old ass court buildings. Turn that shit into a senior assisted living building or something. Where's the money gone to? They sold off the assets of the city to private interest groups. Use eminent domain, man, and go and get that shit back. Use the eminent domain laws, the same eminent domain that they use to kick black folks who have been in the projects up out of there and force them up out of the Cabrini Greens and the Robert Taylor homes and the Aggregator Gardens, and use those same eminent domain laws to go and get the city's assets back. The mayor that went and sold the internet to a private interest group. Those could have been jobs, man. Those could have been jobs. These things were sold off. Then Lori Lightfoot then came in this bitch. Lori Lightfoot is pitiful, man. She's pitiful. She's pitiful. They can't go and get nothing down to nothing on the west side, nothing on the south side. You can't get none of that job market over there. How does that shit work? How does it work? All of them little corner front stores, those things need a facelift. Them little corner front stores, man, they got that smeared glass and all of that shit, man. That stuff, it looks horrible, man. That shit is an eyesore. It's a straight up eyesore. And that stuff, it keeps folks from wanting to do business with them. It really does, man. It prevents folks from wanting to do business. How am I going to do business with you, man, where when I pull up, y'all got a parking lot that's congested, man? Who the fuck gonna do some business with people in Chicago when you pulling up to the courthouse, and if you go to the courthouse, where the fuck you gonna park your car at, man? I'm not driving no goddamn BMW down to no motherfucking courthouse. Them tight ass parking lots, man, repay them goddamn parking lots. I'm gonna bring a high price car out here, man, for that shit to get hit and scraped and nicked. Hell no. Hell fucking no. Dude, the streets gotta talk. The streets gotta talk. Because I find it odd that the government talking about we gonna give you immunity if you go and tell what happened. Alright, cool. Well, tell the whole story. Tell the whole story. Tell the whole story. If you like, people wanna push me. They get mad at me for trying to raise money to get the man out of jail. But if you ask me, all of the lawyers were ineffective, including Kanik and Bonjean. All of the lawyers was ineffective, including Kanik and Bonjean, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the way that you beat this shit, all of them, they tried to argue the case and they tried to argue the evidence. Fuck that shit. When you gotta argue the case and the evidence, fuck that. Hell no. We gonna touch on this evidence. We gonna touch on the case. I would have been bringing up shit all during the trial. I would have been like, hey, but listen, this person was doing federal crimes in the Northern District of Illinois, and the prosecutor's office chose not to pursue charges. That contributed to this type of behavior. The government wants to go and make you believe that all of the crimes that have been committed are the sole fault of my client. And my client is a victim of circumstances, just like many of you are in the jury pool. Now, the mayor here has been corrupt. The city has been corrupt. The politician, the police department, they have been corrupt for years. But the city wants you to believe that my client is one man who just is a miraculous super criminal, while they have chosen to let the other folks who are the perpetrators of these crimes walk free. My client don't claim to be innocent of all that they are saying. He don't claim to be innocent. But yet his argument here today is that they are overcharging him for what's going on when this same prosecutor's office uncovered this and chose not to do anything about it here. So we have selective targeting of my client based on his celebrity status, and them folks, they want to get career advancement based off the name and the back of my client. My client don't claim to be innocent. That's going to be the first thing that we're going to tell you. But they are searching for political advancement off the name of his back, and he's not the sole person responsible. And fuck calling in family and friends. They should have called in all of these people who the government chose not to press charges against, because those people sitting out there in Illinois and in Chicago, these folks didn't uncover some major crimes. Like, dude, Rob Blagojevich, Donald Trump had to go and get him out of jail. Lori Lightfoot, remember Donald Trump was trying to send in federal aid in support to Lori Lightfoot? Donald Trump was trying to send political aid into Lori Lightfoot, and she rejected it and said the city don't need it. When the federal government has tried to send in these resources,
All right, I'm back. When the federal government has tried to send in aid when the federal government has tried to send in aid, the city has rejected it. The city has said that they don't need federal aid. They said they could do it all themselves, and the city has failed. The city has failed. Like, because if you really want them, if you really want to attack them, it's a way to attack all of those clients. It's a way to attack all of those girls without getting into victim bashing. Okay, it's a way they could have attacked all of the clients without getting into victim bashing. Like, yo, like, hey, this person came here for this and this, and it did not work out the way that they wanted it to work out. But this is what the parents did. This is what the parents needed. This money was supposed to be, these programs were supposed to be in place, but instead they chose past three governors. And this is another thing. I'm sorry to pivot thoughts on y'all, but this guy who they got now, J.B. Pritzker has to go and put people to work out of his own pocket. The dude who's currently the governor of Illinois, in order to get this ship rolling right, he has to go and pay people out of his own pocket in order to get this thing rolling right. So the reality of it is, like, man, we need to reach out to J.B. Pritzker and ask if he'll be interested in talking to him. So when folks want to know where to go and protest at, well, first folks need to go and protest. Folks need to go down here to Springfield, Illinois, and go and visit J.B. Pritzker office. Ask if we can go and get a meeting with J.B. Pritzker and tell him about our concerns for the city of Chicago and misappropriation of government resources. What about the misappropriation of government resources? The governor has the power to go and investigate these things, local and federal. Local and federal, he has the power to go and research these things and investigate. These are city employees. The city belongs to the state. We asking that these things be done. Because when folks want to raise hell, if y'all want some media attention for real, why are we on YouTube beefing and bickering back and forth? Why are we out here bickering back and forth? Like, it's not getting nowhere. Folks that took it as far as they can with the bickering back and forth, but show up to the governor's office, show up to the governor's mansion, and start asking the questions. Start asking the questions, dude. Like, don't just sit here and say I'm gonna write a letter. Okay, cool. If you're gonna write a letter, if y'all into writing letters, write a letter to J.B. Pritzker, man, and ask him, hey, we live out here in Chicago. Tell them, man, why does Chicago look like that? Why is the state of Illinois adverse to programs and set asides for minorities? Because when they starting to say we care about black girls, well, where's the cosmetology school? Like, it should be Chicago. They should have Chicago cosmetology schools. That's on in every fucking 20 block radius in Chicago, or 10 block radius. There should be a damn cosmetology school. And for the men, Where's the welding classes at, man? Why is there no welding classes or auto mechanic school or something like that? Where is things at? They didn't pimp these girls out. And since when? Okay, and this is another question. For everybody who's out here writing letters, let's talk about this. Is it customary for a sitting state's attorney, to go onto a documentary, Surviving R. Kelly 2, and start giving her opinion about an ongoing court case that she's prosecuting? Of course they shut down the vocational school. The same as they probably shut down the visual and performing arts schools. But have they incentivized minorities to open up visual and performing arts charter schools? Have they incentivized the black conglomerate? If you ask me, my conjecture, I would say no, they haven't. They haven't incentivized anyone. Because this ain't about affecting change. The government don't care. Dude, they trying to sell a Lifetime show. And it's a joke. It is a joke. It's a joke. When the government, it says that they're all about victims' rights. Then after all of this was done, the government moves for $15 million in restitution. And gets mad when they can't get a restitution award of $14,500,000 for Rashona Landford, when they knew good and damn well that even before they asked it, she didn't meet the burden in the statute of proof. So why did they ask for it? Why did they ask for these things? They knew that they didn't have what they were supposed to have, but the government chose to keep pushing the meter. So if they're gonna push the meter on some things and not on others, then what are we doing? How do we go and get a man where the lion's share of these crimes were committed 30 years ago or 25 years ago, and you don't have anything more current to talk about? So you go out here and you do these press junkets and bullshit rollout plans in order to stimulate interest. How do that go? Where they do that at? Somebody let me know. But listen, y'all, that's been my show for today. I'm not gonna drag this thing on out. I enjoy talking to y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe, leave comments. Peace.